Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Bryant from Bryant Tech. In today's video, you'll see how to solve reverse linked list algorithm problem. If you ever take a computer science class, algorithm and data structure is one of the most fundamental and important type of a class you will encounter. The reason is that when you go to interview, a lot of big FANG companies ask those kind of questions, and the linked list is one of the most fundamental data structure you learn along with things like dictionary, array list, graph, etc. So without further ado, let's dive into it.
Alright, we're going to take a look at how to reverse the linked list, which is probably one of the most commonly asked questions during interview process for a program interview, or when you take computer science class and then there's a program class called algorithm data structure, and you'll come across linked list. Linked list is one of the most well-known data structure when you learn program languages. So it is not as common or most well-known as array or the list, but it's probably still the one of the most commonly used data structure and more than one very popular one. Other things like there's graph and dictionary, etc. But this is something that you learn as when you learn computer science class for the first time. So here's the linked list. Linked list is commonly has this kind of a pattern. There's something called a node, which is where each one is a node, and then the kind of pointer that point to the next one. In this case, is one directional. So is you see that one is pointing to 2, and 2 is pointing to 3, and then 3 is pointing to 4, and then the last one is null. So but it can be also pointing the other way around, which is bidirectional. Because you have only one thing that points at the one direction, this is called a singular linked. Sorry for my bad writing. I think I only have one hand, so hope you understand singular linked list, right? So now, idea is that there's always you're given with the head, and then when you want to reverse your linked list or ask to do that, and then you will be coming whenever at the end, it will has to come the other way, where head is, you see that when you start, head is pointing to 1, and then but the last element is 4, but at the end 4 becomes the first element, which is denoted by head, and then it's going other way around, right? So how to do that? This is just an example, but then over the how it do look like, but then you can have a different example thrown at you. So one of the things to remember when you ask to solve this problem is that you need 3 pointers. Whereas the first one is that you need the one that refers to previous one, and the one that refers to the current, and then one that refers to the next one. Okay, so you'll see why you need all those pointers, and as we go getting to the actual problem solving mode. So let's go into the next. So when you start first time, and then like you want to kind of what is the base case, right? And then an exceptional case, boundary edge case. Let's see if it says no, right? If there's empty or no, you can just return as it is. So that's kind of your most simplest base case, right? If head is no, and you can, I'm kind of writing in the Java pseudocode style, but you can just write it, if you know C++, you can write it that way, or Python. The idea should be the same, right? Okay, I'm just use the Java style, right? So, but now actually the case. What do you, now let's say we have this example 1, and then 2, and then etc., right? And then, so we want to set the previous one, which is as null, right? And then the current is going to be the point to head. So that's going to be our like a very basic declaration, right? So current previous one is going to be set to null, and then current is just set to head. Okay, so that's head. Now this is going to be where I'm going to set, and then you want to also make the next as a null or the current next, doesn't matter, but I'm going to just set it like that, right? So, and then we wanted to reverse it. So what's going to happen is that we want to set the next here, but we want to do it through the loop. So the condition to loop through it has to have a kind of like an ending, like a scenario or use end case. So you'll see why, but it can be either current or next. But you'll see that at the end of it, it will point to, at the end of each iteration, will point to the same, like same position, right? So, but then the case we're gonna loop through is a while current is not null, right? Okay. So next is gonna be that whatever that is going to be current. The next. So current next is gonna be current, the next, okay, and then etc. But now this is where interesting things can happen. We want to set the current, the pointer, the next pointer, to the opposite direction and then pointing to previous one. So it's going to detach from the original and reattach to the previous one. So the current is going to be previous one, or next. The current, the next is going to be previous one. Okay, so it's going to change the previous one. Okay, and then we want to update that the previous one to here. Okay, so previous current is the point at the same temporary point at the same thing. We are moving up the previous one just to, so we are kind of moving up to, and then the current is going to be at the end of it, going to pointing the same as next. And then let's see if this works for the next iteration. So what we have right now at the second iteration is, we have, this is null whenever we start with, and then this is going to be 2, and then 3, and then this is going to be current, and the next, right? But the next is going to be advanced to the next, the current and next. So we're going to have next here, right? Next, okay? So next is current and next, and then we're going to say the current and next is the previous one. So this is going to be detached and attached here, right? It worked. And then previous get updated here. And then current is going to be pointing at the same position here. So it works. So, and then same thing for the next iteration. And then 3. And then 4. And then it's going to be null, right? And then going to be pointing to null. And then here. So we're at the here, right? So we're gonna have is we have a previous one here, and then there's the current, and then so the next is going to be current and next, okay, and then the current and next is gonna be pointing to here, detached, attached here. So the previous one is we're going to be updated here, previous one, and then current is going to point into here. So this is going to be end of it. Okay, so what I'm going to have the next iteration is 1, 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then it's going to be previous one, and then current, and then still going to point in here, and then null. Okay. And then next is going to be pointing to this, and then current and next is detached from previous here, and then previous going to be updated to here, and then current is going to be at the end of it is going to point here. Now they're both pointing to null, but so it can be checked either way. You see the current is null, so it will break out. And so what we have at the end in this example is 1, 2, then 3, and then 4, and then there's gonna be null territory, current, next, and we stopped, right? And then there's gonna be previous one. So we can just return previous, and that's it. So this is how we do reverse linked list. Now again, if you're using C++ or Python or Golang, Rust, other things, you will see that a little different, syntax wise, but the idea should be the same. So pretty simple, right? Till next time, bye bye.